Fucking the UVTV, motherfucker. I'm gonna kick spiritual ass and do this for my people. On God. Neon nigga for Featherman, yeah. And today I'm gonna be talking about the spirit is immortal, eternal, and everlasting. Going to war for your space and existence and create new pockets. So, just in general, right? When it comes to this overall energy, right? I always be saying your spirit is your space, and then I'll be throwing these new words in there. Oh, eternal, everlasting, observing, creating, and stuff like that. Replace the word spirit with the space that you in, the state of being that you in, the state of awareness that you in, your creativity, which you're creating for yourself. Because the way how you became sentient, you created yourself, and you came out your mama womb and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same process. Okay, you got birthed, you got born, you got begetted as a child, and things of that nature. You got born from your mama womb and stuff like that. So based upon that mechanism in itself and stuff like that, that's you doing it to yourself. Not no thing where it'd be like, oh, I got born and I didn't ask to be here and stuff like that. No, you chose to be here because you chose to be alive. You chose to be sentient and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You just came in a different shape and form. You came in a different mentality, light body, and you came in a different physical shape and form, the physical. And then you wanted to be a part of the external world of you basically being part of Earth in the different elements: fire, water, air, earth. And Earth is just the accumulation of fire, air, and water. I mean, fire, water, and air for the most part. So you want to ground yourself in reality to make it a part of the physical world. You know what I'm saying? Make it terrestrial, make it grounded, make it stable, make it sturdy, make it mountainous and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to reach that new peak and get all the pleasures of the flesh and the external world, so where you can take things from the external world so you can receive something from it. Just like earth signs and stuff like that. If this was astrology and stuff like that, oh, they like to take things from the external world to receive things from it, and they like to go based upon thinking and practicalizing or materializing things for the most part. So they think more logically of how to ground some type of energy so they can receive something from it based upon them being part of the external world in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? They actually try to manifest and materialize things and utilize shapes and forms so they can receive something from it, which is why they can be like real materialistic and stuff like that, or they're really about their business, or they're really about their money and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But it's like a filtering, like it's just how they look at stuff. It's not to say they ain't spiritual or anything like that. It's not to say they ain't creative. It's just they filter it in a physicality type of way for the most part. But it don't even got to be physical. It could just be, oh, you grounding an idea. You trying to materialize an idea. You trying to, you know what I'm saying? You're emanating a vision of trying to accomplish a goal that leads to you reaping the rewards of something. So like money, monetary gain, you know what I'm saying? Actually playing out the physical circumstances and things of that nature. So based upon your spirit being your space, and it's just your state of being and your state of awareness and your observation point and what you're experiencing, right? So from you being a spirit and a body, human vessel, you're using this as a vessel, using this as a ship to God with the space that you in, your spaceship, so to speak. So from it being your spaceship, right, it's just the space you in and where you're going to ship it, where you're going to go, what are you trying to create, what are you trying to build in this lifetime. And it's based upon attention span. Attention span is based upon what you can focus, what you can focus and concentrate on and making it concrete. And how can you attract people based upon what you're paying attention to? So the masculine and the feminine, for the most part. The masculine would be like the atom, or the first intention, or the thoughts and ideas. And then the feelings would be like the eves, or the evening time, or the womb, or the container, or the feelings and emotions for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So what are you moved and motivated by based upon what you're paying attention to, and how you're going to draw people based upon the overall awareness or the first intent or the thoughts and ideas that you're trying to create for yourself. So it's like a mechanism, masculine, feminine, for the most part, to make it like super simple, mad simple. So the first intent or the direction where you want to go and how you're going to support whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like the motherly, caring, nurturing type of energy. Like what are you going to do to support whatever you're paying attention to for the most part? And it's going to lead to the different dichotomies based upon us being a part of society of like the patriarchy and I can't even say the word, the matriarchy and stuff like that, and societal norms when it comes to men and women for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, why we have these different things of like, oh, how come women are so emotional? Oh, how come niggas always trying to be chauvinistic because of this, that, and the third? You know what I'm saying? Super testosterone up, and then how come females are super estrogen up and stuff like that? When really it's really all these different things. So the spirit is androgynous, so it has a masculine and feminine side. But from us being men and women and male and females, for the most part, it just leads to, on a higher percentage scale, if you're a man, you're gonna be more testosterone up, more masculine, more man-like, more built, more chest out. I mean, chin up, chest out type of energies for the most part, right? Trying to express, externalize, expand, or experience things, and then women, they like to contain or receive or internalize or attract what they're already paying attention to for the most part, based upon the awareness and the first intent. It's just sometimes, well, a lot of the time, they end up forgetting their first intent, their thoughts and ideas, because they would rather just be in a certain emotion and feeling, so they don't have to think that hard about stuff. That's really a different video. See, I understand all this shit. I understand man. I can go deep about that shit, about the different dichotomies that y'all be making up based upon men and women and the masculine, feminine, and stuff like that, and how y'all be getting confused because y'all don't look at it like a divine masculine, divine feminine. Y'all don't look at it like a mechanism. Y'all don't look at it as like a whole thing in itself based upon like different energies that you're emitting based upon the sentience of the metaphysics or what your mind is doing, and then you're putting yourself in that state of being. You're putting yourself in that space, and everything is based upon expansion and contraction. So externalizing, internalizing. You're doing things from the inside out. As above, so below, as within, so without. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of it is all that. It's a deep thing, but that's a different video. But for the most part, right? Yeah, going to war for your space and existence and create a new pocket. So from you fulfilling yourself, spiritually speaking, and you gaining more spiritual strength and endurance is going to add more sentience to your abilities and your capabilities. And spirituality is just the actuality of you believing in something beyond just yourself. So the same way how winter time is going to end up coming and all the trees and all the plants and stuff like that are dead and deteriorating and stuff like that. Okay, the grass comes back. The trees come back. You get what I'm saying? So it's going to come again. But from you believing in something beyond just yourself, okay, belief is just, it got be and it got lie. So it's you be lying. So you be lying based upon your belief. So if you believe in something, you have to be lying about something. Like, not lying in the sense of you lying to yourself, even though it can lead to that. But you believe in something so much, but it's going to end up showing your true state of being, because you can't get the truth without a lie. For the most part, you know what I'm saying? That's why the coldest lies have a little bit of the truth in it. But in general, right, when it comes to believing in things and the state of being that you in, you be lying in it. If you're lying in it, it's the epitome of that allegory of, oh, if you make your bed, you got to lay in it. So you like to lay in that state of being. But based upon that belief, if you're just believing in something beyond just yourself, you end up actually learning the mechanism of how to be born again based upon that belief of spirituality, the overall space, the overall creativity, everything in creation, aka like the universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all like to call it. Oh, everything in existence, everything when it comes to the observable universe and stuff like that. Even supernatural type of shit or paranormal type of shit, like unicorns and angels and the jinns and different mythical beings and mythologies and stuff like that. Okay, that's still part of existence. Otherwise, we wouldn't be aware about. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be aware about it, because it's a state of being, it's a state of awareness, it's a state of existence. So there is something like that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be aware about it for the most part. So it's about taking the unseen and making it seen. It's about making make believe and making motherfuckers believe it. Like, bro, it's really that simple. Like, taking fiction and making it nonfiction. Oh, make it something where, oh, we can actually make that a thing in reality in some shape or form. That's why when it comes to movies, when it comes to fantasy and the supernatural shit, or like sci-fi and stuff like that, right? Science fiction, a lot of these, like, that's why people are so intrigued by these stories or intrigued by these things, even though it's super fanatical type of shit. But there is a shape and form, or there is something like that. It just probably not going to look how we like to put the names and titles when it comes to that. But there is a state of being of being like that, though. You know what I'm saying? So it's based upon us getting more charisma, us getting more characteristics, and we create the character. So it's us getting more behavior, and based upon our behaviors, it's based upon the state of being that we in. That's why we behave in that shape and form. You know what I'm saying? We behave based upon that thought and feeling. We behave into those characteristics, and we behave based upon those mannerisms. Men being men and women, and it's gonna be an ism. It's gonna be a quality of something. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a whole deep bag of a whole bunch of different ways of how to play out a certain thought or play out a certain feeling and emotion. And yeah. Now, based upon with the spirit realm, right, there is no good and bad when it comes to the spirit realm, right? Because it just is what it is. So it's a state of awareness. It's a state of being. It's the overall state of awareness. It's the overall parameter. It's everything encompassing in itself. So like the universe and stuff like that, right? So it's like the good and the bad. It's like a yin and a yang, but there is no like good and bad in that arena for the most part. It's just like the positive and the negative, like a polarity type of thing. Is it a progressive or is not? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's the literal epitome of when y'all be like, oh, it is what it is. Exactly. It is what it is. It's not in a bias of it being good, it being bad. You're just in that state of being. So from you being in that state of being, that's the space that you're in. So if you're in that space, that's what you're paying attention to, and that's the thing you're gonna attract. And then it's gonna turn into a shape and form, because in the overall space, there is no shape and form. It's you know what I'm saying? It's just the all of creation in itself. So you're creating it. So you're emanating it. You're birthing it. You're blooming it. Now, based upon your spirit being immortal, eternal, and everlasting and stuff like that, that's the thing that you're always going to end up doing. You're always observing. You're always experiencing. You're always expanding onto something. The problem is when you get stuck into a pocket of time, when you get stuck into a membrane, when you get stuck into a memory, you get stuck into a particular thought, you get stuck into, you know what I'm saying? It's like a person who end up being stuck, stagnant, and doing the same shit in the same place, in the same circumstance and stuff like that. You ain't trying to change your circumstance. You ain't trying to change the way you look at it. And you ain't trying to change how you moving and how to have a better result or better actions so you can have that real success. Because it's not just based upon material success, even though it can lead to that. But actual success just means having a better result than what you did last time. Expanding the space that you in. You expanding the awareness. You expanding the intention span. So it's like you expanding your mind, and it's going to make you more motivated to do a lot of shit in the physical so people can remember you for something based upon your legs you can stand on, aka your legacy. But it's an internal thing first. It's an internal thing, but I'm gonna get all deep into that. So based upon it being your space, that's what your soul, that's your individual space, your particular space of how you do things, and then we make the world. So we have our own subjective point of view, and we make the world, we make the objective point of view, like the overall world in the universe and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we make it what it is. So if we're creating it, that's what's gonna result all the way down to what's happening in the physical and stuff like that. So based upon what we're paying attention to, that's as far as it's gonna go based upon what we're paying attention to. And then it be a lot of motherfuckers who ain't spiritual like that. They be lost into the flesh. They be lost into the external world. They be lost into technology. They be lost into science and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So from them being lost into that, they get lost into their mind, and them thinking, oh, if I can't see it, then I ain't gonna believe it. Instead of believing into something beyond yourself. But that's the whole mechanism of gaining confidence. That's the whole mechanism of believing in yourself just in general. You have to believe in the lie. If you have confidence, like real confidence and stuff like that, you have to con yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're conning yourself. You know it's a lie. You know you don't actually believe that for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't actually have it in the physical, but you believe in it so much that you want to be in that state of being. I want to be one of the greatest of all time. Oh, I want to be the best. Oh, okay. So it's based upon the space that you in. Space, time, matter. You trying to be the greatest of all time. So you have to do something greater than time and be timeless. The space that you in, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to keep going back to that. So it's based upon what you paying attention to and what you're observing. And you're trying to expand the space that you in first. The state of being, the state of awareness that you in first. So you're making that more sentient. So look at that as you creating an awareness. You're changing the way of how you look at things for the most part. And you ain't getting caught up into a specific shape and form. You end up making new pockets. You end up fulfilling those different insecurities and stuff like that. If I wanted to make that an example, you end up fulfilling those pockets in the lighter shape and form based upon the essence and the substance, the subconscious standard. So before even it becomes subconscious, because that's really the unconscious realm. The spiritual realm is like the unconscious realm. Before it even becomes a shape and form, you're already in that state of being. You're already in that space of, oh, I'm trying to have substance. I'm trying to have subject matter. I'm trying to have content. I'm trying to have depth to me than just surface level shit for the most part. To make it like super simple. You know what I'm saying? It's based upon the essence. So it's the eternal sense. So it's you making sense out of something, and you trying to be sensitive to the senses, and then also like sense as in money. So you trying to be rich in spirit, you're trying to be abundant spiritually, you're trying to have more gifts and talents and abilities based upon what you're observing, and good, and get good at that first, and then it's going to turn to a better idea, a better vision, a better dream. You know what I'm saying? A lot of big ideas that you want to play out into the physical realm and things of that nature. Now, when it comes to immortal beings, right, which is really just spiritual type of beings, immortal beings, and them being eternal and them being everlasting, right, they always willing to be born again. So they're able to let go and retain that energy of what you what you just experienced, what you just observed. So the same way when it comes to meditating and stuff like that, right? You can choose whether or not you want to act on those thoughts or not. Especially when you get frustrated and things of that nature, you can choose to be angry, because you have to create it. You have to create hate. You have to create love. You have to create anger. You have to create passion. So you can choose whether or not how you want to react and respond to the situation. You can choose to be mad, or you can utilize that to be productive and pay attention to something else. Even if it made you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can actually feel upset, but you're not showing that through your actions. Like, you're not trying to externalize that action of you being super angry and upset, and it ends up taking you away from being productive, and then you end up, you know what I'm saying, soaking up or eating bad fruit, so to speak, and you ain't as abundant. You're not as fruitful. You're not doing high hanging fruit that takes longer and is way more juicy and is way more sustainable and is way more tasty and flavorful. You're going for low hanging fruit, that monetary gain, that instant gratification, that petty type of energy for the most part. So you're gonna end up retaining you getting mad, or you being easily irritable, or bad temperament and stuff like that, instead of you utilizing that to turn a bad situation into a good situation, making something more broad instead of nipping something in the bud, and then you end up acting out a whole bunch of bad temperamental petty type of energies for the most part, and then it turns into some shoulda coulda woulda type of energy. It turns into victim blaming type of energy, instead of you learning how to self-reflect, and based upon what you self-projecting is what you're self-reflecting about. So all you're gonna self-project is you being upset, oh, this person did this, that, and the third to me, but you allowed someone in your space to make it so they could even do that to you in the first place. And then the whole thing is like a mechanism. Sometimes that's going to happen based upon you going through the ups and downs in life, but you're focusing too much on the down part. It's not to say you're not going to feel down sometimes, or feel depressed, or not be in the greatest mood and things of that nature, but it's how you deal with how you basically what's being dealt towards you just in general. Because it's not about something being for you or something being against you. It's about it going through you. So from it going through you, that's how you're going to get what you deserve, because you're not getting lost into a want, a convenience, and you ain't getting lost into a need, a necessity. So that's what makes it so you can have a power control type of position, to where, oh, sometimes you can play out your wants, and then sometimes you can play out your necessities, but you shouldn't let that stop you from doing what you want to do by you getting lost into a dichotomy, you getting lost into an ego type shit, a bias. But just in general, right? Like I was saying before, an immortal being is like a worship being. And then it leads into stuff like deities, because y'all be looking at God like a deity, when God is just all possibilities. So from it being all possibilities, it's like how I was saying before, there is no good and bad in the spiritual realm and stuff like that. It's just, it is what it is. So it's all that's possible. It's possible it could go bad, and it's possible it could go good and stuff like that. But it's just the all encompassing of what we're paying attention to on a broad scale. So if we're paying attention to a lot of degenerate shit, all we're going to see on a high percentage scale is a lot of degenerate shit. If we're paying attention to a lot of productive, creative, you know what I'm saying, sentient type of things, of trying to bring life to some new type of goal, or new type of high hanging fruit, or new type of abilities and capabilities of what we're actually capable of just in general, and try to expand and experience and broaden up that awareness and stuff like that, then that's all we're going to see. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we can bring God on earth, all possibilities on earth, when we start to act out those type of energies. But it's a teamwork make the dream work teamwork make the dream work, each one teach one type of energies, instead of getting lost into some representation based upon the external world and getting lost into the flesh. So it's based upon like how motherfuckers be when it comes to like the scientific method and empirical evidence, and they always want like some type of methodology behind something when life don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Life isn't always gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like life is always gonna change. So it's not always gonna go based upon what you think your mechanism and what your method is all the time and stuff like that. So you have to always learn how to pivot or expect the unexpected, so to speak. So it's knowing how to move and how to pivot, even if you're going through those different transitions, because life in general is about change. So the birth, life, death, resolution, uh, spirit, mind, body, spring, summer, fall, winter. You know what I'm saying? Based upon those different mechanisms and those different transitions on a lighter scale, like what the atmosphere is doing. Okay, we're making our own space, our own sphere, our own atmosphere, our sphere at most, our own world at most, and we like to create worlds, and our spirit like to emanate. It likes to experience. It likes to create shapes and forms so we can make new ones. So it leads to us creating new pockets. So from the spirit being immortal or eternal and stuff like that, everlasting, it's about being born again. So you're not getting lost into, you're basically able to let go of what you did in the external world, let go of physical pleasures in the flesh, and let go of you being lost into your mind or a certain thought, idea, feeling, emotion of how you felt like you were supposed to think or feel about something. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm able to be born again. I'm able to create something again. I'll just make another circumstance and stuff like that. And when you get born again, you're actually going to be more frustrated because you was able to let certain things go and retain some new type of life, some new type of ability, some new type of observation point for the most part, because you was able to gracefully transition for the most part. That's why it be in some cultures when someone passes away, oh, they have like that one day where everyone is sad and sorrowful and you know what I'm saying, like getting all that pain and grief and sorrow out, and then the next day it's all about celebration about what the person did in their life and uplifting type of energies for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like it's giving praise to what they did just in general. So like that's actually like a good thing for the most part, because that's how you're supposed to look at it. It's like, oh, damn, it's sad that they died, and we have to let go of who they was in the physical, in the flesh, and what they did in the external world. But he can safely transition into a broader light that's angelic, a higher angle. So when they come back, they have more to offer. You know what I'm saying? They have more capabilities. They have, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not about the name in the title, because y'all be liking the anthropomorphified shit for the most part. So it's not even about the name and title. It's just about the space they was in, or what they created for themselves, and like the essence of who they was for the most part, at their core, their true state of being. So based upon them living in their truth, for the most part, is them believing in something beyond just themselves. So even when they leave this earthly realm, for the most part, they able to live beyond because of what they did from them being true to themselves, their true state of being, and then that's it. But just in general, right, when it comes to immortal beings, right, they're like worship type of beings. So y'all be looking at God like a deity, and God and a deity is just all possibilities. So y'all are just deifying something, you're descending something. I look at it like how y'all look at God. When it comes to y'all looking at God like a deity, y'all basically get lost into someone else's mind for the most part. Like it's like them being like a walking thought, or like a walking feeling, a walking mentality. You get lost into their mentality of how they think. But they probably don't even give a fuck about that, because they're an entity, not a deity. So from them being an entity, they're a thing living on its own, but it's something part of existence, which is just your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Your specific space, but you get lost into one of their mentalities. You get lost into one of their businesses. You know what I'm saying? You got lost into one of their feelings for the most part. You got lost into one of their interviews or some shit like that. But they probably don't even give a fuck about it no more, because they probably dead and gone, and they basically in a whole different space because they're not in the flesh no more. You get it? You know what I'm saying? Like it's really that simple. So for the most part, right? Like to learn how to be more eternal is you have to understand how y'all look at idol worship, like different idols and celebrities and icons and stuff like that. Y'all be worshiping them like they God. You're really worshiping their mentality of what meant something so much to them, based upon what they was paying attention to and how they was able to attract people to their mentality and utilize their imagination, aka their magic, and they can be a source and how you could do that for yourself, which is why you're praising them so much, but you get lost into someone else's mind instead of trying to create it for yourself in your own mind and your own experiences and your own structures or your own dreams and your own goals. You more focus on what they're doing instead of focusing on what you're doing. So that's why it's idol worship, just in general. But you have to understand, you have to have that belief in yourself, that belief and faith in yourself, and you have to turn your spaceship into a warship. So from you turning it into a warship, it's making your spaceship ready for combat. So you're willing to go to war about something. You know what I'm saying? So it's you staking claim about your intellectual property. You staking claim of your imagination. You staking claim of your you know what I'm saying? Of your creative abilities and stuff like that. What you experience, your spiritual testimony for the most part. What you're able to endure for the most part. What you're able to I can't even say the word. What you're able to withstand based upon adversity and hardships. And hardships is like people shipping or casting hard ass stones towards you in the space that you in of what you created and stuff like that, trying to ruin your reputation, trying to ruin like your whole narrative of what you're trying to do for yourself and stuff like that, and you're not letting that stop you. So you're having a lot more spiritual strength, which is going to make you have more mental strength because you're flexing your mental muscles. You're trying to add more thought and ideas and feeling emotion towards what you're trying to do, add more sturdiness. You're trying to add more you know what I'm saying? Stability. You're trying to add more security, but like mentally though, you're trying to add some high self-esteem, some higher value to where you can't just destroy my shit that easily. You can't just cast stones at like a glass house because I don't even have a fucking glass house. I got a brick ass house and you can't. And then I got some windows and stuff like that. But at the same time, I got windows that's all secured up and boarded up and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole bunch of different security systems set up and stuff like that. You can't even get through my shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But yo shit, I can see right through that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like mentally though. So just in general, right? You have to remember who you are at your core, aka you understanding your own source and your own soul, your individual space, what you like as an individual and how you like to individually represent yourself, not based upon the external world, not based upon the flesh, and not getting lost into a bias of what caters or pleases your mind, because that's when you start being lost into your mind and stuff like that, of you thinking it has to be in a particular shape and form, a particular way, otherwise it's not going to work, when that's not true. You have to be in your true state of being based upon what naturally resonates with you for the most part, and is you remember who you are at your core and you celebrate it and giving praise to your own sun, your own star. The same way how you see the sun, it being a walking emanation of a star in its different transitions, dawn till dusk, Adam and Eve's and stuff like that, the evening time and then the morning time, right? The circadian rhythm, it being a celestial body, so a heavenly body. So what makes you feel bliss? And what makes you feel heavenly? What makes you feel good based upon what you're trying to create for yourself? How can you make an internal heaven and not get lost into an internal hell? You know what I'm saying? Low hanging fruit. And then that's really it. So you have to start somewhere, but you have to keep going. Even though that sounds mad cliche, but you have to start somewhere and you have to keep going and make it continuous. And the more you're able to endure, the more you actually experience, the more you're going to have more spiritual testimony, and the more you're going to have more abilities or different ways of how you can pivot and stuff like that, to where even if someone try to throw a narrative at you, you're free as a spirit. You're not inside a container. You're not inside a box. You're able to make new containers and make new boxes, but you're also able to freely move outside of it. So even if someone tried to put you in a certain container, it's not going to work because you're a free spirit. You know what I'm saying? You have your free will and you're able to freely move as you want to and stuff like that. And then you could utilize that for something more productive. And that's the thing that's going to be everlasting, because you're caring more about your state of being. You're caring about the space that you're in and trying to expand that first. So things that nourish your soul, and you're able to expand and expound and express and externalize that first based upon the internal realm. So you going after your visions, you going after your goals, and you soaking within it to have some type of thought, idea, or intellect or communication that you can share, to where you're manifesting, you're materializing, you're festering men and women, masculine and feminine, and you're always expanding and contracting. You're doing it within the physical, you're doing it within the mind, and you're doing it within the spirit, just in general. So you're not trying too hard to be somebody, because the spirit is no shape and form. So It's not to say you can't turn nothing into something, because that's what we're here to do, turn nothing into something. But you're not getting lost into those sum of things, because you realize, oh, I'm a free spirit and I can make a whole different quantity and make it into quality. I can turn gold in any different facet for the most part. Don't try to attach me to those sum of things, because I can make a whole different set of accumulation of things just based upon my creative abilities in the space that I'm in, and then that's it. So people, places, and things come and go, but you're always gonna have that room and space to where you know you're able to create more, and knowing that's okay, and going through the transitions.